Hello, beautiful people. I'm Lisa Murray from Creative Alchemy, and here we are, another Facebook Live. And tonight I thought I might have a little chat about healthy choices for kind people. So if you're not kind, you can stop listening now. No, I'm only joking. But literally, I think kind people have a really more challenging time with setting boundaries and being clear about what works and what doesn't. And I've been having this conversation with quite a few different people recently and just looking at, well, where do we overgive? Where do we overdeliver? Where are we being nice to people who absolutely don't deserve what we're being? You know, and like a friend that I had lunch with today, we're talking about a situation she'd been in a few months back where she did an incredible amount of work for this organization under very difficult circumstances. And they didn't even really give her a thank you. And in fact, you know, did a lot of judging and criticizing and all kinds of things. And I think if you're a person who's kind, you know this story. You've probably got a version of this story in your world. And one of the things that I have found for myself with this is really looking at, well, what is it I hope to create by being kind? Because there are times when we're kind, when the outcome of that is created much, much, much later. You know, and then there are other times when there is no real outcome created except that we realize that once again we've been overgenerous for people who don't appreciate it. So I wonder what it would be like if you would begin to just ask the question, well, what would it be like if I was being kind to me first? Okay. And it's a really interesting thing because a lot of people who are kind, they actually don't even realize they're not putting themselves first because they're, you know, living other people's lives. They're basically falling into their worlds, putting them first and forgetting about who they truly are. And, you know, my sense is that kindness is a brilliance. It's a magic. It's something that if you actually get it to work for you, then it's a superpower. But you have to stop using it against yourself. You have to stop making everyone except you happy. And, you know, it's not really useful and it doesn't generate much to use your time and energy on people and places that aren't grateful. So I wonder what it would be like if instead of giving yourself away, basically, constantly giving yourself away and giving away your time, your energy, your magic, all those kinds of things, what would it be like if actually you put in place what I call generative boundaries? Now, some boundaries are just, it's more about keeping people out, keeping things away. This is not what I mean. Generative boundaries are boundaries where you put the kindness to you first. Boundaries where you get really clear on what's a great use of your time and what's not, okay? And you get really clear on where you will contribute your energy so that it actually benefits everyone, not just maybe the person who is very selfishly using you. Okay, so if you've ever thought, oh my God, those people were just using me, if you've ever had that go through your mind after a situation, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And what this is a lack of awareness of what true kindness is, what kindness you need to be for you and to you so that you can allow, what would I say, allow different possibilities to emerge. And so, hi everyone who's joining. Thank you so much for coming to play. Yeah, this is a really interesting topic because a lot of people talk about it in, you know, set clear boundaries and, you know, and they do it from this very kind of controlling energy. Whereas I look at the whole idea of setting healthy or making healthy choices when you're a kind person as looking at, well, what is it that I would like to create in the world? And then what boundaries do I need to have in place so that most of my energy is actually put to that rather than to whoever might seem like they need me, okay? Now, how many of you are really, really, really good at knowing when someone needs you, at actually attracting all the needy people of the world? Because if you're really, really good at that, and there's no shame in that, okay? It just means you're kind. But what I would say to you is, if that's you, then at some point you're going to have to look at, well, what need are you fulfilling that actually makes you need to be needed? If that makes sense. And I've half written a blog post about this, which probably I'll put out in the next few days. But literally, when we need to be needed, we can't set a healthy boundary. We can't make a healthy choice because our needs have actually overtaken our awareness. So what would it be like if you stopped allowing your needs to dominate your awareness? What would it be like if you allowed your awareness to dominate your needs? And, this is not necessarily, in some ways it's a simple thing, but it's not necessarily an easy thing, okay? And so I just want to invite you to just sit with that and consider it. And maybe I'll do something a bit different tonight. Maybe we'll do a tiny little energy immersion, which I often do in my classes. And so let's do that actually. And so you can just get the energy of what this is that I'm talking about. So just take a really big, deep breath in and expand your energy out. And expand it out to the space where you are 1000% clear on what the energy of true kindness is, first of all. And just expand your energy right out into that space. And now look at all of the different choices you've made in your life and just ask for the ones that have been kind to you, healthy for you, and generative for everyone involved. Allow those choices to bubble to the surface as if they're clouds coming off a lake. And as you do that, float up into those clouds and allow them to cuddle you, envelop you, infuse their magic and their generosity and their beauty through the entirety of your reality. And actually allow all of that energy to infuse your awareness so that you actually know the energy of what a healthy choice is for you. Okay? And I do get we have a little bit of delay here, so if you're just joining, I'm just in the midst of an energy immersion, which just allows you to tap into the exact energy of what it is you desire to be and receive. Cool. So when you're fully filled up and you can sense that really beautiful energy of kindness, healthy choices, you can bring yourself present to this moment, this space, this time we're in, and allow that space to continue to infuse every choice you make. And you might find yourself making some very different choices, actually, some very unusual choices. And you might find yourself making some choices where in the past you might have judged that as unkind or, not, unkind. And what if actually that kindness that you're being is what's required for the change that actually you're here to create? So there's something about not judging ourselves as we go through this process. And it's funny, because I've been just rearranging who's in my life, you might say. That might be one way of putting it. And really looking at, well, how is this and how do I work with this? And what would I like? Who would I like to have in my life? And what kind of energies would I like to have in my life? And as I've been doing that, it's been really fascinating just to see what changes emerge and what possibilities emerge and what conversations emerge. So I'm not going to do a long Facebook Live tonight, but because we have two puppies now here, and one of them is crying because I'm looking after the baby one that looks like a hedgehog. I'm calling him Little Hedgehog at the moment. He's a real sweetie. But the other one is obsessed with him and upset that he's not available right now. So yeah, but I just want to say to you, start to play with this energy I've given you. And if you would like to play more with it and you'd like to dive deep into what these healthy choices look like for you as a kind person, then of course you're welcome to join me for GlowWild. We start on the 1st of March. In fact, we've already really started. We officially start on the 1st of March. But at the moment, we're having a little joy festival in the group. So there's all sorts of little bonus extras going on that are enjoyable to play with and that actually just create a really nice container and platform for what we're going to explore as we keep going over these next 6 months. So I've put the link for that in the video comments. It's creativealchemy.com/glow. And I just want to invite you to just spend the next 24 hours looking at every choice that's available to you and asking yourself, is this kind to me? Is this kind to others? Is there something I would like to change here? It takes courage. It really does take courage to change what we're talking about, because if people are used to you being the doormat and used to you, I'm going to show you the little hedgehog at the end just because he's so cute. But if people are used to you being that person who always says yes, who's always there to contribute, who's always saying, here he is, who's always just, who's always there for others. And I mean, I'm not saying don't be there for others. Like, I am totally there for others when I know that's what's needed. But what I am saying is don't be there for others where it's always at the expense of yourself. Because it's not only at the expense of yourself, like on a daily basis, it's at the expense of yourself in terms of what you create in the world, the impact that you make, all sorts of things. And so what would it be like if you actually realized how expensive some of your choices are? That's what I'd like to say to you. So, yeah, I think there's quite a lag here. And so if you've got any questions, of course, you're very welcome to throw them in the chat. And if you've got any questions about GlowWild, of course, I'm always happy to answer those as well. But it's like we don't realize what the opportunity cost is of actually, or the possibilities cost, whichever way you want to look at it. But literally, we don't realize that there's a cost to being kind when we put our kindness into places where it's not appreciated, where it's not acknowledged, and where there's no gratitude for the difference that you're making. So I just invite you to look at, well, what's going on in your world, and is there places where this could change for you? Because what I find for myself is that it used to be really big things. Like, it used to be, oh, I'm in a job where I'm giving and giving and giving and giving, and now I'm exhausted and have burnout. You all know that story with me. But now it's much more subtle. And I'm noticing more and more that the kindness has to, you have to be really present. Okay, little one. You have to be really, really present for the kindness to, whoops, your tail's all tangled up. You have to be really present. Oops, hang on, sorry. Yeah, there we are. You have to be really present to actually realize when you're giving out of kindness that is going to work for everyone, and when you're giving out of kindness because you can perceive a need. I didn't actually realize that I perceived everybody's needs, and that I was like an automatic fulfillment service for other people's needs, actually. And I'd say, oh, I was that from a very young age. And so now I'm much, much clearer about that. And I really look at it and I go, okay, so do I wish to do that? Or am I actually really willing to allow people to sit in those needs and to ask? Because sometimes it's literally, if they're not asking, they're not going to be grateful. But if they ask, then when you say yes, there's a gratitude there that is different to if you had just filled the need without them even realizing they had the need. Okay. Now, of course, I can talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I just wanted to give you a little taster of what we're going to play with in GlowWild. And I hope that it makes a difference for you right now, starting today, and that maybe you realize that the choices that you make need to work for you. Because we're really good at talking about choices, and we're really good at sort of removing ourselves, or some of us are, we're changing, I think. Some of us are, like, at moving ourselves from, there you go, little one, from that sort of space where we're always giving. Like, we're really good at removing the obvious parts of this. That's what I want to say. And yet, a lot of the stuff is really subtle, really so habitual that we don't even realize that's who we're being. We don't even see it. And yet, it doesn't work for us. And all those shoulds and have tos and must dos are a part of that. So there you go. That's just a little chat for tonight. Not the most fun topic, but at least it's one that's useful. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. And yeah, have a really great night. And I wonder what's possible now that's never been possible before. I just will add one more thing. If you've ever been at the effect of a narcissist or a psycho, any of those things, then this particular thing is huge for you, because basically it probably means you're quite empathic. You did everything for them, but of course they always escalate what they're asking for. So even if you did everything they asked for, then they escalate it and escalate it. And so you always feel like you're not enough. And so this is all really about finding the ways where you can be enough because of the choices you're making, rather than having people tell you you're not enough because of the choices they're not willing to make. So hope that makes sense. Have a really great night, day, afternoon, adventure, whatever it is for you. Go check out GlowWild if you want to. It's going to be amazing. I am so excited for this. I reckon in the last 10 years, all the programs I've run, which there has probably been about 130 or so, this one I am just off the wall excited about, because I feel like it's going to create something way, way, way beyond what I've ever created before. So there you go. All right. Yeah, and Pia, I agree with you. She just said kindness is fun to me. It is for me too. I love being kind. And yet, what I notice is that there's kindness and then there's other things that we call kindness that are not kindness. True kindness is really fun, but there's a lot of other stuff that we call kindness that actually then doesn't quite work for us in the same way. And it's not actually kindness. It's more about fulfilling needs, which is something actually quite different. All right. Thank you for coming to play. I'm really grateful to talk to you all tonight. And I wonder what it would be like. Hey, puppy, give me back my computer cord. Thank you. Get go. I wonder what it would be like if you would be kind to you first for the next 24 hours. Just try it out and see how you go. I'd love to hear. Okay, see you later.